Welcome. I'm Janelle Kolaski, a career mindset coach and actor.
And I'm Amanda Dubois, a self-authenticity and prosperity life coach and actor as well. And we're your co-host of Mindset Artistry YouTube channel,
where we teach you the art of discovering and using your mindset
to build a career and life you desire.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Mindset Artistry. And I'm your host. If you don't know, now you know, Amanda Dubois. And today we're going to dive into a topic that every creative experiences. Rejection. The lovely R word. It's so fun, which has been weighing on my mind this past year, and like a hidden challenge that I didn't know I was experiencing. So whether you're an actor, a writer, or a musician, or any other form of creativity or creative, rejection is a part of our process. Whether it's something that we've experienced and done and rejected ourselves, or we're putting out our creative expression and people are rejecting it. But how do we handle it? How do we bounce back and stay motivated, stay connected, and stay inspired and continue to create without letting rejection define us? So that's what we're going to dive in today. How to handle rejection. What is rejection teaching us? And a tool that can help you overcome rejection when those moments come up and creep in and start attacking, consuming our mind, body, soul, and spirit around rejection. And we're going to also discuss a powerful tool, the ABCDE model from a cognitive behavioral therapy practice to help you reframe those negative thoughts and turn rejection into a source of strength, confidence, and belief within yourself. So let's get started. Let's get real with rejection and how tough it is. It stings. It hurts. It beats you down. It tears you apart. And it can feel personal. But is rejection really about us? This is a question that you need to ask yourself. Is rejection really about us, or is it just a part of the creative process? Is it just a part of a learning curve? So I am going to ask you, Janelle, how do you personally cope with rejection in your creative life?
At this point, it's become easier. But when I started out, I didn't realize how much it was part of the process, and that if I could just focus on myself and being really good at my craft and just not giving up, eventually my time would come. So for anybody that's new to the industry, you're like, oh my gosh, there's so much rejection. I mean, what really helped me was just being like, I know if I just keep showing up, my time will come. And it's obviously harder if it's something you really want and you really worked for. Like there's certain roles that I was like, oh my God, I really wanted that, or certain modeling jobs. But it took me time to finally get comfortable with rejection.
Exactly. Seriously, exactly. Rejection, I don't think it ever is going to go away in your career because we're constantly learning about ourselves. We're constantly experiencing new things, and we're constantly doing new things that we haven't done before. So rejection will come up and it can take a hit on our self-esteem. But here's the thing. It doesn't have to be personal. It can be a lesson. It can be a learning curve. It can be a stepping stone for you to elevate yourself, for you to recognize that something subconsciously has been controlling you or stopping you or limiting you from moving forward. So when you address the fact that rejection is existing within our mindset, within our person, within our reality, we're no longer giving it power. We're identifying it, and then we're actively choosing to go, I can make a choice here. I can let rejection take the wheel of my life. I can take the back seat and just observe. Or I can kick rejection out the car. And I always do an analogy about driving a car, or you want to use a boat, a plane, whatever. Right? But you are the captain. I'm the captain now kind of thing, right? You are the captain. You are the driver. You are the creator of your life. And you have a choice. So kick that rejection out the car. You know, rejection doesn't need or have to be where you're not good enough, or it just means that like a particular opportunity or project wasn't meant for you. It just wasn't the right fit. And that's okay. And when you accept that and acknowledge that, rejection no longer controls you and no longer holds you back. It's just a part of life. It's just a stepping stone. It's just something you kind of, you know, when you're driving and you pass a billboard. Oh yeah, it's a passing billboard. You're like, oh yeah, cool. All right. And you keep going. You look back at the rearview mirror and like, oh shit, it's back there. It's no longer in the front seat. It's no longer controlling me. It's no longer holding my hand or gripping my throat or, for the longest time, I rejected my voice. I rejected my truth. And whenever I did, I really felt like someone was holding my throat like this, actively, and constricting my tonsils and constricting my ability to speak up for myself, constricting my ability to speak my mind or to ask questions about something I didn't know. There was so much fear around it because I rejected my truth. I rejected my voice, and it controlled every part of me, and it limited me from taking control and honoring my voice, getting to know it, getting to love it, getting to nurture it. Now I love my voice. I don't mind speaking in front of people. I actually enjoy it. I recognize that the biggest thing in your life that you struggle with is your biggest strength. It just hasn't been honed yet. So if you feel afraid of speaking to people, that's probably your biggest strength. Work on it, help heal it, nurture it. I went to an acting coach and a voice acting coach, a voice accent coach as well. And we talked about dialect. We talked about the fact that I grew up in New York, and I'm half Puerto Rican and half Black, and I grew up with Irish and Italian and Spanish people, and so their accents, I adapted to them. And so I would swallow words like and it would be duh. That's a New York thing. And it comes out once in a while, but I've embraced it. I've accepted it because it reminds me that I've lived. It reminds me of who I am. And so when I've looked at it that way, if you look at rejection or the thing that you're rejecting the most, look at it from a different perspective. Look at it as an opportunity. What can be joyful about it? What can you improve about it? I'm going to put this onto you because we're going to get more engaged here. I want y'all to get engaged with us. I want you to start opening up conversations with us because we're life coaches, we're actors, we're human beings. We need the conversation to be nurtured. We need these conversations to be flowing so that we know what you want, what you're struggling with, and also that we can share our story. So I want you to take a moment to reflect on the last time you faced rejection in your creative work. How did it make you feel? And now I'll answer it, and then Nell, I'll ask you to answer it too. So how did it make you feel? Was it personal, or did you feel and find ways to separate your self-worth from the rejection? I'll go first. I think the reason why I'm bringing this up is I've been rejecting myself this past year. I had to do some shadow work. I sat in front of the mirror. I pulled some cards because I actually do tarot for myself. And one of the first things that came up was rejection. And I couldn't understand why. I was like, I don't understand why rejection is coming up. I'm nurturing myself. I nurture my self-love. I'm in a career that I love. And I couldn't understand. But I didn't realize that I was holding on to all the things that didn't work out. And I defined that with rejecting myself. I rejected myself because I was hyper-focusing internally on what wasn't working out. Oh, why didn't I get that gig? Because I really loved it. I did a great job as an actor. Or why can't I write a new project? Like what? Because I've written short films before. Or why can't I write something now? So I started rejecting myself low key, and I had started moving that way in life. And because I was moving that way, I was also pushing away opportunities because I wasn't showing up as my true authentic self. I was showing up as the rejected little child within me. Although I had, they say, put on the face and a smile and, yeah, great. I was doing that. But inside, I was rejecting. I was rejecting myself. Therefore, other people were picking up that energy. And therefore, that thing that I wanted, I could not receive. I could not accept because I didn't feel worthy of receiving it. I didn't feel or have the ability to accept it, to tell myself that I deserve this. There's also a lot of things going on this past year where I had moved into a whole new state. I was experiencing new things, acclimating to just the energy here and leaving behind something that I held onto in my life, which was a past version of me that was I had dependency around my family and my friends. They were there. Not that it was a bad thing, but they were close by. It was dependent. I depended on them. And I've been independent in my life for sure, as far as pursuing my careers and my life and things like that. But that nurturing dependence kept me from living in my power. So I moved. So there's no time like the present to do the thing that you fear the most. And I wanted to, and it was the right timing. I was dealing with all of that, confronting a past version of myself, letting go of that old version of myself, confronting the rejection that I've been dealing with for probably years that I've suppressed. And yeah, it really hit me. And I would say in the last maybe a month or so, it finally made sense. I finally recognized what the rejection was for me. And I'll jump into that in a little bit. But now I want to pass it down to you. What was a recent rejection you faced in your creative work, and how did you feel about it? And was it personal, or did you kind of separate that from your self-worth?
I would say for this past year was more about modeling, which is one of my creative outlets. And I lost a couple of my biggest clients just because they closed. You know, a lot has been going on with our economy. And then I was like, okay, this is my main source of income, and it has been for a while. This is a little scary. And my agency, a lot of the people that are working there now are newer. They didn't know me before the pandemic, and that I had a full schedule and I was one of the top models at the agency. But the pandemic took my hours away. And even though I've gotten older, but my professionalism, my understanding of production fit modeling, my measurements haven't changed. And production fit is a specific type of modeling where you never lose or gain weight, and you're just standard size for a lot of companies. And so I felt rejected not only by the industry, but also that it felt like my agency didn't really have my back, and like forgot who I was and what I had done. And so I had to learn, like, okay, you've been able to get comfortable, which is a wonderful thing, but you got to remind yourself and other people of who you are, and that you're here to work and you're good at what you do. And so I found through that rejection that I had to find myself again and remember these things. And it was a little uncomfortable. I had to hustle in ways I didn't feel like again. And now finally, I would say a year and 3 or 4 months later, it seems like I'm going to get my clientele back. Not the ones I had before, but I mean my hours, my workload. But I kept meeting a new client and they would like me, and then I would work with them. And I'd be like, oh, great, I can relax. Now I'm going to have this client every week. And then a couple of weeks would go by and they would go with a different model. And I was like, okay. And it just kept happening. And the beauty of it was every week I still had enough work. And I never knew that that would work out versus when I have my standard clients, you just know every week you're going in at the same times and the same amount of hours. So you could kind of depend on that. So it had to teach me, just let the universe hold you. And when you're being rejected, it's okay. And I wouldn't say I was really angry at anybody. I was just kind of like, oh, like, what is this? Or even going into, I had a casting recently where I came in and the woman said, Anna? I said, no, I'm Janelle. And she said, oh. I was like, would you like me to stay? And then it come to find out that one person on her team wanted me and she didn't want me, but that person went behind her back and brought me in anyway. And so I had to stand there while this person was like, well, you don't really, are you sure you do print? Are you sure you do e-commerce? I see you as this type of model, not the type of model people take pictures of, And just saying this, and I was proud because me now versus when I was 18, I definitely handled it differently. I was like, okay, haven't felt this in a while. And so then they kept going back and forth. And finally, at one point, I said, you need to do what's best for your company. I would love to work with you, but if it's not it, it's not it. She's like, okay, well, when you come, you have to have a manicure. I was like, ma'am, I'm a professional. I got a manicure last night to come to this audition. Have a good day. So, and they hired me. And I showed up on set early, moved through the poses. And she was like, I was wrong. And now we're friends.
Love that.
But that was a long-winded story, but that was my rejection year. And just a shift in the modeling world. And I am getting older, and luckily they're accepting people of all shapes, sizes, colors, ages now, but there still is a little bit of ageism. There's still these things happening. And I was like, at the end of the day, no matter who rejects you, you just need to know who you are and remember who you are, and then the work will come.
Yes. I am here for all of that. Thank you for sharing. It made me think of, I don't think I fully finished the story, but with my acting, is that when I recognized that I was living in the rejection, what happened is I started letting it go and how much I was winning, but I was not even paying attention to it, and how much I was holding myself back from actually doing the thing that I wanted. So when I did that, I was like, wait a minute. I had auditioned for a project back in November of 2023, got called in of January 2024 for a callback for a lead in a TV pilot. Went for a chemistry read after that. So that's 3 auditions in. I'm like, all right, I'm going to let it go. I'm not going to stress about it. I'm going to trust the process. Like Janelle said, trust the process. Moving on. I was moving and all the things. Didn't get it. Got the call from the casting director. You didn't get it. Sadly, we were rooting for you, but you didn't get it. I'm like, all right, well, you know what? I accepted it. Then shortly after, I got a call again in like a couple of days or less than a week. And don't mind my timing because I'm very bad with timing here. I got a call saying that they wrote a character for me. And I was like, yes, I don't even have to audition. They were like, absolutely not. You got it. I'm like, great. So when I let go, I didn't live in the rejection of that. Something beautiful came out of it because I showed up for myself. I didn't hold and harp on that rejection. And then sure enough, we were supposed to film in the summer. We did not. And then I got another call from them saying that we would like to actually audition for now one of the series regulars for this project. I'm like, oh, yes. And here's the thing that was really funny. I got sick. Like 3 days before that audition, like bedbound sick. And I was like, I'm still going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to show up on this audition. I'm not going to not do it. So that day, I remember, taking the teas, doing all the things in between. I had told them, like, listen, I may not say anything in the beginning. I apologize, but I had emailed them and said, listen, I'm a little sick. So just bear in mind that if I'm coughing, nothing personal, I'm okay. I did the audition and I set an intention that I will not cough. I'll be in good health, however long this audition lasts. And the minute that it's done, the sickness can like do its thing and like heal and take its time. One, I did not cough once in that audition. My nose wasn't running. I set an intention. I connected with my body. I said, we're not doing this. We're going to do this together. And I did amazing at the audition. They were even impressed that you're sick? You don't sound sick at all. I'm like, oh no, I am. Trust me. If you look at my room, tissues everywhere and all the things. And then I did it and I got the gig. I was upgraded even more. So as much as I was rejecting myself in a whole perspective throughout my life, going through all these things, there were so many wins in between that I was ignoring. There were so many wins in the between that I was really ignoring that could have taken me out of this rejection mindset, this rejection subconscious thought. If I had just taken that moment to go, Amanda, you're winning. Take a pause, look around. Great things are happening. You're surrounded by great people. You got a new agent. Or you booked a voiceover for a children's narrative book. I'm like, whoa, all these things. Slow the fuck down, Amanda. Take a look in the mirror. Live in your confidence, live in your authenticity, and live in your truth. So all that to say is, write in the comments. Tell me and tell us the last time we faced rejection in creative work, and how did it feel, and what do you hope to learn from it, from the tool that I'm about to show you, which is, or tell you, is the resistance with ABCDE model. It's one of the most powerful tools you can use to build this resilience after feeling rejected, which is this model from CBT. And it's a simple but it's effective process that helps us and you reframe negative thoughts and build a stronger mindset, a more confident mindset, a mindset that aligns with follow through, with stepping forward, with believing in yourself. So let's break it down. So the ABC process is A, adversity. So that's the rejection. The adversity that you're coming across is the rejection. So this is a situation where you're facing the bad news. Your date didn't show up. The guy didn't text you back. I don't know. Dating these days is a little difficult, although Janelle, she's happily married now. Yes, congratulations. There's love, there's hope out there, y'all. There's hope out there. There is a pure person for you, so believe in that. Or, you sent the emails to casting directors and agents and nobody has gotten back to you. Those moments. And this is where B comes in. What you're going to do is you're going to shift your belief. The negative thoughts like, I'm not good enough. The story that you're telling yourself after that adversity, after that difficult, challenging thought. I didn't get the role, so I must not be a talented actor, or I must not be good enough. That is the belief system. So acknowledge that belief system. So you have the adversity, which is the gig that you didn't get, the situation, then the belief that comes from that, right? That consequence that comes from it. And then it's the consequence after, but the belief that came from it. Now, the third thing is the C. This is consequences. This is where your low self-esteem, the doubt, the depression comes in. This is the emotional impact. How do you feel after the rejection? It could be self-doubt. You're going to identify it. I want you to identify what that feeling is. Fear, lack of worthiness, feeling defeated, feeling depressed, anxiety, low energy, a lack of motivation. What is it that is identifying with that thought? Because I want you to get clear on this. The only way to let go of these thoughts is to identify them. Because then you can let them go. You know where it lives in your body, your mind, and your soul, and how you navigate it throughout the world. So you've got the A, B, C, right? The adversity, the belief, and then the consequence. Then this is where the beauty comes in, and a little bit of the difficulty is you're going to dispute it. You're going to dismantle that belief, that emotion, and you're going to give yourself permission to let that bitch go. Pardon my French here, but you're going to let that bitch go. Okay? You're going to let it go, release it from your body, your mind. So you're going to acknowledge it. Yeah, it's there. Fine. You showed up. And you're going to challenge that negative thought, that negative belief. This is where you're going to challenge it. Literally say, remind yourself that this rejection is not a reflection of you. It is a part of the process. That job was meant for someone else. Great. But I did this. I walked into that room and I felt so confident. I did the audition and I kicked ass. Look at the gig that I did. I auditioned. I let it go as far as that. I didn't get the lead. Oh, crap. I didn't get the lead. And then what happened? I showed up and I did the best work that I could do. We talked about this in the past episodes. Do your best. I did the best that I can do. And what happened? They saw it and they said, we love you so much. We're going to create something for you. No matter how small it is. Recognize that as a win. That means you're moving in the right direction. So you're going to challenge that negative thought with something positive. Tell yourself and create a fact in your life. Find a fact in your life that is going to contradict that negative belief, that limiting belief, that block. Okay. And then this is where E comes in. So we've done A, B, C, D. So we did adversity, belief, the consequences. We're going to dispute it. And then here E comes in. It's the effect. You're going to increase your resilience. This is the better mindset. So you found a fact, you discredited that negative belief, and so now you can create a positive one. You're going to fill in that space. Because what happens is you've acknowledged it, you know where it lives in your body, the real estate in your mind, right? Think about houses and stuff like that, the real estate. You dismantled that house. You dismantled that thought. Now you got the land. Then you nurtured that land with some love and some nutrients and care, which was challenging the negative belief. And then you're going to give it that positive thought, that flip of a side, because we all have dark and light in our lives. This is the shadow work. This is the rejection. But what's on the opposite of rejection? Acceptance. Acceptance, confidence, joy. Find the opposite. There is always two sides of a coin. You can't have one without the other. So what is the other flip of that coin? What does it mean for you? It could be different. It doesn't have to necessarily be acceptance. It could be love. It can be, awareness. It can be, I'm going to use this to create a story and I'm going to write that short film. Great. That's what you tap into. You tap into the positive effect of what you want to achieve, which is an increase your resilience, learning from the experience, and ultimately feeling stronger. You're claiming your power back from that rejection. All of this is allowing you to reclaim your power, because when we live in rejection, we give up our power. We give up ourselves. We give in and we let go and like, oh, I'm nothing. I can't. It doesn't happen. You know, that we do that. You still have time. So flip it. So I hope that helps, because it's one of the most powerful things. You know, I've never really put it into words, but it's something that I've done. I was aware of it. I acknowledged it. And when I did that, I gave myself so much power. It was like, oh, I can shift my mindset. I can shift my reality. I can shift how I react to this. You're shifting your reaction. You're letting go of the need to control the situation, the need to control the outcome, and you're experiencing it. You're experiencing it. So now I want to pass it back to you. What are your thoughts on the ABCDE model, and have you ever used it in your life or something similar?
Yes, I love cognitive behavioral therapy. I've been around it my entire life. My brother who has autism, we had therapists coming over doing CBT all the time. So I love that you're talking about this, because it's the worst thing to feel like you don't have tools and that you're just always going to be stuck in this way of thinking. And the first thing I have to say about it is don't feel shame that you go like this spiral, like I won't be good enough because this happened. And I wanted to share this tool that I use. It made me think of this. It's called Clarity app. It's literally called Clarity, and it's an app both on the Apple Store and Google Play. And it's a CBT app. It's like that, and then they even have like more options, which is great. Like you can have the thought, and it makes you pause, like you're saying, take the time, and you choose: am I catastrophizing, all or nothing thinking, magnification of the negative, jumping to conclusions? It makes you pause and choose what you're actually doing, which this process is, you know, and then you write it down, and it guides you through, and it gives you prompts to do kind of the steps that you're saying, but in another way. So, do what Amanda said. And also, like, if you feel like this is something that you really struggle with, restructuring your thought process, the Clarity app has changed my life. And seriously, for all these apps we keep talking about, y'all need to start paying us.
Yes, attend our workshops. We have so many wonderful things. We have worksheets, online courses. Y'all need to, we're here. We're creating this from scratch. Because it comes from our truth. It comes from our own experiences. And the reason why I'm bringing this up again is because I was struggling with it. No matter how successful you get, these things come up. They come up depending on what stage you are in your life. I'm grateful that I was able to acknowledge that I was holding on to that rejection subconsciously, because it gave me more power. And I was like, all right, great. Once I did that, the field opened up for me. I was in my own way. You are your own worst enemy. Let me say that again. You are your own worst enemy. So to forget the external people and the validation and all that stuff. You are your own worst enemy, because you can talk yourself out of success. You can talk yourself out of love. You can talk yourself out of a goal and achieving it. Just like, Janelle in a past episode, she talked about someone just going to the gym for 5 minutes. Going to the gym for 5 minutes, that was creating a little bit of a habit that started becoming ingrained in her body, her friend's body, and then it turned into 10 minutes. And I'm pretty sure that it turned to half an hour. And she was like, yeah, this is great. And it kept being consistent with it. This is the consistency. This is what happens. Thank you for sharing the fact that don't feel shame that these come up. Don't feel guilty about it. You're only human. You're meant to experience these things. You're meant to experience it in order to overcome it, to see the other side, to get through that tunnel and see the light. You can't know what light is without the dark. Because if you've been living in the dark so long, it's become familiar. It's become your everyday thing. You know nothing else. So if you're living in the shame, if you're living in the guilt, if you're living in the fear, you will only know the guilt, the fear, and the shame. So it's your responsibility. And I know it could be hard. I'm not saying it's easy. I've cried a lot. I recently had a breakdown because I had scratched my right cornea eye and my eye, and It was excruciatingly painful, and I broke down one day because my doctor gave me some steroid drops, and I had been on it for 3 weeks, and my eye was still. One, it looked like it popped out of my eye. Like I looked like I should have been Frankenstein's sister. It was red, and I was sensitive to dark. I was sensitive to light. I was sensitive to blinking. Like, I didn't understand why it was so painful after 3 weeks. And I just broke down. I physically broke down, emotionally broke down. And I was like, is this a representation of my life? What am I not seeing? God, help me. And it was so painful at the same time. It was like, I was waiting for the ibuprofen to kick in, and it took too long. It was like 30 minutes. I'm like, and it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was suffering. Because I had been going through this for 3 weeks. And it was a representation of life, of that moment of like rejection. And I just woke up after the ibuprofen kicked in. I started having clarity, which is what you do with the ABCDE model and the CBT. I keep saying this, the cognitive behavioral therapy. I should just say that. It's fine. But once you do that, you get that sense of clarity. And I end up going to the hospital, going to another doctor. And they're like, yeah, you have a scratch in your right cornea. I'm like, what? Why did no one tell me for 3 weeks? I've been suffering. Within 5 days, the medication helped. This ABCD model is your medication. Think of it as your medication. Think of it as your healing tool. If we acknowledge the injury, the pain, then we can find the solution, the medicine, the prescription to help you through that and eventually heal it. But we don't know until we acknowledge it, until we actually confront it and go, ooh, my back is hurting, or I am procrastinating. I'm living in the failure of it. I feel rejected in my career. I don't feel like I have any sense of worth. Find the prescription for it. Share in the comments, what are your thoughts on this model? What are your thoughts on cognitive behavioral therapy? Have you done it before? Share with us. What are some other tools that you've used in any moment in your life where you face rejection? Share with us. Share it with your community. Share it with the next person. Because you've overcome it, you have the ability to share that story and relate to someone. You're human. We do not let go of the humanity of all of us. We connect. We are experiencing this all together. We've all got a story that we're going through. We've all got a life that we're going through, people that we're meeting every single day, jobs, careers, all the families, friends, all of that. And I'll quickly leave this with you. If you are living in a sense of a negative thought, give yourself the compassion. Give yourself compassion to acknowledge it, heal it, and know that you can overcome it. Be kind to yourself throughout this process. It's not easy, but it could be. Just like practice, right? This is a practice. Once you practice it enough, it becomes easy. You have the ability to make it easy, but you got to practice. And if you're curious on self-compassion, we did an episode about self-compassion and your thoughts on it. We also teach that in our course. To circle back here, in our course, The Path to Empowerment in Business, we teach that. We teach compassion. Janelle is amazing in career and marketing and all the things that is career mindset. She is so incredible with that. And she lays it out for you, y'all. So you can watch these pre-recorded videos. They're digestible videos. They don't feel like you're in school and in the classroom. So, no, you have the ability to take it at your own pace, absorb it as you want. And there's worksheets. And when you do join that course, you also get coaching from us. So take advantage of that. It's the new year. These are new opportunities. These are the opportunities that you have at your disposal. Forget about the money. This is investing in your future. This is investing in what's behind the door, what's at the end of that tunnel, the light. Because in order to get out of that dark, you got to acknowledge it and know that the light is the light is there. It always is there. It's just like the sun and the sky. Even though the clouds are there, the sun ain't going nowhere. The sun's there. The sun is always there. It's just, covered. So drop in the comments if you're interested in the course. We can send it to you. It's pre-recorded. You can jump in anytime you want and take your time with it. You can download the worksheets, and it's also connected to all the other episodes we had that is targeted and with each of the topics that we have. You have a library of resources that we have. It's at your disposal. Take advantage of it. Stop letting life slip by you. Stop letting life literally trample you. You have the ability to put your boots on, put your big pants on, or whatever it is, your stretchy pants, whatever you need, and get going. We all deal with rejection in many different ways, and it can come up as fear. It can come up as not feeling good enough. It can come up as anxiety. It's okay. It is okay to feel these things. But what's not okay is to stay in it, because then you're letting, again, life slip by you. So use those tools. Use the app. I didn't know about the app, so thank you, Janelle. I didn't know about the app Clarity. I might have to download it myself when I have these moments. Any last words or encouraging words for our listeners, Janelle, that you would like to share about the struggle of rejection?
People that lack the courage to really go for what they want will love that you're being rejected, and they will tell you about it. And that sometimes will make the rejection go deeper. Oh, they didn't propose yet? You're not married yet? You don't have kids? You booked a TV show years ago. Are you still acting? Oh, you're still acting? You're still modeling? Well, I don't know. You're making this much, but I thought you would make this much. So it's just going to happen. So not only are you getting rejection from the actual thing you're pursuing, but you're being rejected by the people around you. And really, and this is my resolution for 2025, to just not seek safety by the external validation of others. And it's a subconscious thing I do, but I'm constantly rejected by others. And sometimes it's when I'm trying to love them the most, and that will happen. Because if people are rejecting themselves, they sure as hell are not going to accept you and the love you're trying to give them. They're going to be like, reject, reject, reject. I can't let that in. So just know it's your story. It's your path. You've got these tools. Amanda's given you this Clarity app. People don't have to understand it. People don't have to get it. They don't have to understand your dream. And we all have a different path. And, I'm a multi-hyphenate creative. Some people just do one thing, and that's their bag. That's not my story. And sometimes I used to feel like, oh, but I really wanted to do acting the most. And I'm sure one day acting will be all that I do. But I'm not going to close myself off because of the different ways I've been rejected that are redirecting me somewhere else. It's been a really cool, beautiful life because I've said yes to myself when other people have said no. So please do not deny yourself of this gorgeous, interesting life because you let the rejection stop you.
Yes. Do not let rejection define you. Let it redirect you. It is, at the end of the day, it is your stepping stone. It is your ability to move forward. So keep creating, keep improving, and know that each no is leading to the right yes. And always be the yes that you need with yourself. Say yes to yourself, even if they say no. Your yes matters the most. Trust me. As we end this episode, drop in the comments. We're really going to gauge this year is what's one thing you're going to do today to build that resilience when you come across rejection or doubt. Share it with us. Share it on social media. Start that conversation with a friend. This is your support system right here. Mindset Artistry. Amanda, Janelle, got us. So thank you for joining us and tuning into this episode. I hope that today's conversation helped you reframe how you see rejection and gave you the tools to bounce back, to overcome, and to feel stronger in your abilities, and to know that it is not the end. It is just the beginning. And don't forget to subscribe, to rate us, to like us, and leave the comments and how much you enjoyed this episode and how much it was challenging for you to confront the fact that these things exist. I want to know. I want to know because I told you how I felt about rejection. So again, keep creating, keep evolving, and keep embracing the art of mindset. Love you all. Until next time. Bye.
What are your thoughts about this episode?
Drop it in the comments and let us know what you want to dive into next.
Subscribe, like, share, and click the link below to book a free consultation. And
We'll see you next time.